Hello everyone, the book that I got for you today is a newer book written about a historical figure from not too awful long ago, but it's been a little bit. It is X by Ilyasah Shabazz. It is the daughter of Malcolm X who wrote this book about Malcolm X before he becomes the Malcolm X. Leave my feet. Hello there, I will get you too. Like I said, this one is a newer book. It only came out, I believe, last year. I'm not entirely certain on that, but I believe it was last year. This book was written by the daughter of Malcolm X about his early years, like I said, before he became the mega, super famous, and super powerful leader as Malcolm X was. Okay, and a quick disclaimer, just like with the other book that I did called Coffee Will Make You Black, I know that this story doesn't necessarily involve me at all, other than educating me on what I can do and what has been done by people like me in the past. So, I know that I can't really say that I'm emotionally invested in the characters as much as somebody who has had experience dealing with racism, but I still can learn from it, and I still enjoy learning from it, and I very much enjoyed this book, so I want to talk about it in a disclaimer. And unlike some of the other books that I've read, which are literary fiction, fantasy, that kind of thing, this one is an actual kind of biographical account of what happened to a person in real life, so I can't really critique story developments because, duh, it actually happened, and I can't critique somebody for doing something or having something happen to them. But this has kind of been expounded upon a little bit, and maybe details added where there weren't any when she was told about this when she was a child or when she got older or things like this. And that's totally understandable to make it more interesting, to help people to learn about Malcolm X more completely and help understand what he went through and what his children went through and what people who followed him went through. So I don't have any problem with kind of expounding on the truth, kind of expanding it a little bit and trying to fit a little bit of personality into it where there wasn't any before. Now that I've kind of analyzed it before I actually did the summary, okay, the summary is that young Malcolm Little at the time was growing up in a small town in the middle of nowhere, and he felt like nothing was going right with his life because nothing was going right with his life at the time. He had to steal to survive, and he got caught by the cops, and all this crap was going down, but he was doing really well in school, and he was really proud of himself for doing really well in school, so he kept up with it, and he kept getting better and better and better. But, and at a very crucial point in his life, he was brought aside after class and after school one day, and he was told by his principal that he was just another N-word. And that was the straw that broke the camel's back, because obviously that's gonna be one of the worst things that you could possibly be told in your life, is that the kind of a person that has dealt with that their entire life. And it breaks him, kind of. He doesn't want to pursue education anymore. He doesn't feel like he can. He doesn't feel like there's going to be any use if he does. So he sees kind of a nightlife type thing over in Boston. So he goes over to Boston for a while, does some stuff, goes over to different places. It's intense. He gets into dealing minor drugs, and he gets into placing bets, that kind of thing, being a bookie in a sort of way. And it was an enormous mess, and everything was going wrong in his life at this point. He ended up in prison, and his siblings eventually came over and started talking about Islam, and he found a new light in Islam. He found a new reason to continue helping people because of Islam and a lot of Islamic beliefs. I almost forgot it again. Okay, now one more time. Okay, there we go. Now on to a bit of critical analysis, because there is still stuff to analyze even though it is biographical work. The chapter lengths are weird. They are split up into 20 or 30 pages of weirdness where there are different timelines going on. There's different timelines where he's involved, there's different timelines where his siblings are involved, where his aunt is involved, and it's kind of hard to follow if you're not used to it. But I don't think you'll have a problem with it because it's an awesome storyline. Their pages are very well spaced out. It's easy to read. The sentences are very, very well done. It is great at getting and keeping your attention. It was very well put together, and I enjoyed it greatly. There were a few, dull moments, but there is in any book, basically. But anyway, I absolutely adore this book. It is very well put together. It was very informative, especially from the point of view of somebody who's went through racism, to the extent that Malcolm X had at that point, and had beforehand, and will have had after. And there was an even deeper understanding because it was written by one of his daughters. It was his third daughter, Ilyasah, and she was amazing at doing this. It was written with the help of a woman named Kekla Mangoon, and they did an amazing job. I loved it. It was great at teaching me things about racism that I had obviously no experience with. And it was helping me to understand how it works and how I can better understand it and help deal with it later, and deal with it myself personally, obviously, first, and then work in other facets. I can't speak English today. But anyway, yep, that's the end of my book review. Now I'm going to transition to other things. So if you're done watching the book review, then I suggest you can go ahead and leave. If you want to keep watching, then keep watching. Okay, I probably already told you that I'm reading these, but I can't remember from the last video, and I don't really feel like linking it up because I'm lazy. So I'll go ahead and tell you the other books that I'm still reading, because I probably have told you about them already. Anyway, here they go. Okay. Like I said, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. I'm a little past halfway through with the first book. And Harry Potter 5, I'm a third of the way through. Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children is amazing. And like I said, I'm only halfway through the first book, but I also do own the second book, which it's awesome. By just looking at it, I'm sure it's going to be just as amazing as the first. And I also own a kind of teaser little bit of the third book. This is the first three chapters. Now, the book is already out. I know that. And because it says arriving in bookstore September 22nd, and it's already September 23rd or 4th. But I'm very much looking forward to this one after I actually get it. And I live not too far from Atlanta, which is where Ransom Riggs is supposed to be having one of his stops. I'm going to try and find a costume, dress up like one of the Peculiars. We'll see how that goes. One thing that was kind of interesting to me is apparently they're making a movie out of Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. It says, the motion picture adaptation of Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, directed by Tim Burton, is coming to theaters everywhere March 4th, 2016. Apparently I went a little bit Irish there for a moment. I can't do Irish, as you can tell. I love Ireland, but I can't do the accent. And enough gushing about Ransom Riggs. This book is wonderful! I love it so much. I love it so much. I can't take it. It's too wonderful. And one thing I don't know if I've shown you guys yet, it is a scarf that I'm knitting because I'm in Hufflepuff. And I wanted Hufflepuff merchandise, but they don't have Hufflepuff merchandise anywhere because nobody likes Hufflepuff. Never me. Anyway, now for a little bit of explanation about my video schedule. Because apparently, even if I do have a little bit of time on Monday, I never remember to do it on Monday. So I'm just going to cut it down to Thursdays for book reviews because I can't read books that fast. Okay, and if you like this, please let me know. I would really, really like to know how I can improve this. So if you let me know how I can improve it, I would love to. If I can add some more stuff to the channel or whatever, because it seems to me that nobody is really watching these. And that's fine. These are really more of a resource to have for people to have later if they want to see if they want to buy the book, and I'm just kind of filling a hole. Maybe I should do more mainstream books, who knows? Maybe I'll try that later. Okay, well, I'll snap it back up because I love doing the snappy thing. And please, feedback is wonderful. If I'm terrible and you hate me, tell me that I'm terrible and you hate me, and tell me why, so I can improve it. I would really love to see that. Anyway, now, I will see you in the next video with the next book. Goodbye.